Welcome again, Pisces. Dadhichi Toth here from astrology.com.au with your April 2015 monthly overview. Now, I'm not sure what it is you fear, but having the courage to overcome your fears is very much helped by the current position of Mars in your third house, along with Venus in your third house. Mars is definitely a friendly planet for you. And by moving through this third house, which we call the house of valor, along with other designations, it's the house of communications, but it is an area where you can take that inner strength and practically apply it to overcoming the fears or the obstructions that you see in your life right now. That has to be a very, very positive signal for you, and a transit that I think will hold you in good stead over the next month or two. Some of the other important transits include the new moon and the full moon this month. The full moon occurs first up in the fifth house of your horoscope. And it is interesting because the moon is a nurturing planet, and again, another very friendly planet for you. It's not really a planet, but just for ease of speech. The fifth house is the creative house, but it's also the house of offspring and children. I guess you'd call children the most creative thing that we can do. So having that full moon in the fifth house, for some of you ladies out there that are just getting to that point where you're thinking about family life, there could be that biological urge now to procreate, to have children. In any case, you'll be very, very creative this month. That takes place on the 4th. And then the new moon, which is a very transformative one for you this month, taking place in the 8th sign of your horoscope, the sign of Libra. Very near to the karmic point, showing us that the transformations that are going to take place will impact upon you for many, many years to come. So I see this month as a very pivotal one for those of you born under Pisces. And the fact that you have Saturn at the upper apex of the chart hasn't really helped you in a way. Saturn can make you feel very constricted. Perhaps this has to do with the feature of courage that I'm talking about, breaking free. The 10th house, as well as regulating our professional lives, has a lot to do with the development of our ego, our sense of identity. You know, having Saturn there, the constrictive planet, it's a very slow moving planet, can actually make us feel inadequate as people. So that Mars in the third house, I think, is really going to allow you the opportunity to reorient your thinking back to one that is positive self-image, where you can really hold your head high and feel good about yourself. And that's always the basis of good things that will happen in future. And naturally, in relationships, the way you're going to attract the right sort of person, the right sort of response, is to first and foremost have the right feeling and respect for yourself. These are the qualities that I see in your horoscope this month in April 2015. I haven't wanted to move chronologically. I'll say that again. I haven't wanted to move chronologically through all of these dates. It sounds a little too mechanical, but I will give you a few key dates. I've given you the lunations there, the full moon and the new moon. We've talked about Mars there with Venus in your third house of courage and valor. Mind you, that courage may have to do with speaking your mind as well. Although I normally look at the second house for speech, the third house does have to do with your mind. Having Saturn at the upper part of your horoscope, sometimes we don't want to say anything. Oh, no, don't say anything. You'll upset the apple cart. What will they think? Well, this is a time when you realise, well, hang on, let me say what I think here. You can do it respectfully. You can be assertive in a respectful manner. That still expresses the courage that is required of a particular situation. The conjunction of the Sun with Uranus on the 7th is lovely. That's in the second house of finance. You could expect the unexpected there. Something you hadn't bargained for financially. There could be some sudden inflow of income during this period. Also, possibly a new way of thinking about material things. So there's probably a few different ways to look at these transits. Again, coming back to the theme of courage for you, it could be a way of looking at money. Sometimes we get sort of locked in to the preconditioning, the way we've been taught to view money. You know, the issue of money and how we make it is a lot to do with you know, our views on money, our belief systems about money. And I think there, just in the beginning of the second week of the month, you can start to see all sorts of things moving, openings taking place, some of them sudden and abrupt, but certainly if you've got the courage that we're talking about here, you will go for your dreams and not be afraid to, you know, tackle the challenges that you're confronted with. The Sun is in favourable aspect to the career sector on April 10th. Jupiter in the 6th house, that's your work sector as well. We see a lot of work stuff coming out here for you, especially in the middle of the month. Mercury on the 10th, also favourably aspecting that area. Sun to Mercury in the 2nd house of finances, also on the 10th. So that 10th, leading up to the 10th, that seems to be a pivotal point in the cycle, and that's just preceding that new moon that we talked about on the 19th, which will take place in the 8th house of transformation. So that, again, we have to put all these jigsaw pieces together to, you know, create the story here. Now, it's not always going to pan out exactly as I say, because there are so many levels on which these planets can operate, and depending on your own personal horoscope, where the line of least resistance is and what you feel most comfortable with. But absolutely having that, the full moon there that I mentioned earlier, but the new moon in the 8th house of self-transformation is a very, very powerful one, and one that I think is going to, again, solidify the component of courage that we've been talking about. Brings us up to the latter part of the month. Again, the same theme coming through. Mercury moving to that 3rd house of courage on the 15th. Sun moving to the 3rd house of courage on the 20th. Let me just draw a distinction there with Mercury, though. That does have to do with contracts and the ability to communicate and bargain for yourself. And you have to be careful there, because your mind will be a little bit flighty. You may have too many jobs on your plate. So do prioritize, I think, is the important thing to do. That takes courage too sometimes, because you don't want to say no to anyone. So prioritizing what you have to do will also, in a sense, be an act of courage. I like the movement of Mars there for you, moving into a really, really nice trine aspect to Pluto in the 11th house, Mercury in the 3rd house, trining Pluto in the 11th house, and Mercury coming to conjunction of Mars in the 3rd house. So this 3rd, 11th house. 11th house is the fulfillment of one's dreams. It's social activity, it's networking, it's the acquisition of new streams of income for those of you running business. So all in all, a very, very favourable month, and I hope that carries you over till I see you again next month. But if you need another hit yourself up at astrology.com.au with our daily, monthly and yearly readings in more detailed focus, and of course our line of astrologers, practitioners, psychics such as myself, that are there to help you with more complex problems of a personal nature, which we can do on a one-on-one basis. Take care. See you here next month. Bye-bye.